In mid-2015, whispers of a sinister dark web horror game started to take over online forums and discussion. Stemming from a single YouTube channel known as Obscure Horror Corner, a short video containing footage from an alleged title called Sad Satan was uploaded. The footage showed creepy and strange monochromatic corridors and hallways filled with an endless void of darkness, accompanied by unsettling sounds and whispers in the distance, which led players into truly horrifying scenes. Throughout the gameplay, at multiple moments, pictures of famous serial killers, presidents, or Hollywood stars would flash on the screen, and most terrifying of all the screams of tortured individuals could be heard as you walked around. It's a truly mind-bending experience to even watch, and becomes even more panic-inducing the more you learn. In the video's description, the author claims to have found the game on the deep web using Tor, where after clicking through dozens of sketchy links, they arrived at a site that allowed them to download the game. In fact, they even left the claimed link on the YouTube video and asked others what it meant. Strangely though, the actual link itself contained characters that aren't normally allowed in Tor URLs, but that didn't stop people from speculating on what might actually be going on here. Many other users in the comments section and in other online forums claim to have also found the game, but upon downloading were hit with hundreds of malicious viruses that bricked their computer. These tales online only caused the urban legend to gain more and more traction, with new posts being made about discoveries in the title which included children being abused, live killings, and animals used for ritual sacrifice. These claims online were starting to get absolutely out of control, and there was still no actual proof that the game really existed, just an unknown developer named ZK who was behind it all. But who exactly was ZK, the creator of the YouTube channel, and what was going to happen next? Soon, a supposed copycat game was uploaded on 4chan by a user claiming that it was the original. But after downloading this actual copy, many users were hit with a slab of malware and even more horrible, gory images of torture and death. So whether or not the original Sad Satan game ever existed, this new one most certainly did, and it wasn't for the faint of heart. Like in the original videos of the title, it included endless forbidden hallways and disturbing images, with many starting to worry about who was even making these rumors about the game to start. Soon, some investigators online started to link the developer ZK alias to another known internet figure named Gary Graves, who had already gotten in trouble for producing some disturbing online content, and on top of this, speculation grew that the original YouTube channel may have been an ARG of sorts to hype up an upcoming release that he was making. Potentially, the actual game later released on 4chan was a version of the original spliced with even more disturbing content and a bad virus in order to trick people who couldn't contain their excitement. Or maybe the entire thing was set up by ZK from the start, and the title itself does actually exist and is even worse than we could ever imagine. To this day, the truth behind the myth and urban legend of Sad Satan remains unknown, with many online arguing the real game is still out there hidden in the secret mind of a serial killer capturing and torturing people for pleasure, while others argue that it's nothing more than a creepypasta-style hoax that gullible gamers online fell for. But regardless of whichever it may be, the footage and gameplay that we do have of whatever this title was is disturbing, and it opens up questions about whether or not there really are some forbidden games on the deep web, wrapped behind endless hidden links and websites that, if found, could reveal some of the biggest horrors of humanity. Kojima Productions is one of the most enigmatic studios in the entire gaming industry, and while they're best known for titles like Metal Gear Solid or Death Stranding, there actually is one other game they worked on as well that many people likely played but forgot about. This psychological horror thriller of sorts was originally devised as an interactive teaser for an upcoming Silent Hills game production that the studio was doing. But due to a falling out between Kojima and the Silent Hills IP owners, Konami, the collaboration was swiftly cancelled, and Kojima Productions removed PT from online store shelves. This came as a gut punch to many, as even just this short teaser gameplay was enough for many to start seeing PT as one of the best horror experiences in games ever. I even distinctly remember being a freshman in college and someone in the dorms getting the demo and us all freaking out as we gathered around the couch to watch and play. But for those of you who haven't played PT, it consists of nothing more than an unnamed protagonist who awakens in a concrete-lined room adjacent to a haunted corridor. Gameplay comes down to literally nothing more than just walking down this corridor over and over again in a continuous loop, as the room starts to shift around you and more scary things happen. It's a basic premise for sure, and understandably so considering it was made as a short appetizer. But that brevity and storytelling doesn't mean the community didn't spawn some truly insane theories along the way. Most prominent of these was the idea that a woman murdered in the area named Lisa, who had her eyes gouged out and was stabbed in the stomach by her husband while pregnant, is actually following you the whole time. Rumors about this creepy idea began to spread as players noticed more and more strange things while they played. Uncanny breathing from right behind you while nothing else was on screen, brief moments where your shadow cast against a wall looked unnatural, or the faint thud of footsteps that seemed almost in tandem with yours. Players online around the time began to tell stories of being watched and followed while going down the hallway, and entire urban legends were being crafted about another entity that was in the room following right behind you the entire time. It seemed crazy for many, and more likely the ramblings of some players who just got spooked. And considering that the game was quickly removed from online stores, the myth only grew in popularity as less and less people were able to even play. However, 5 years after the initial release, in 2019, a man named Lance McDonald, who still had access to the game, was able to hack the camera to stay in a fixed position while the player moved. And what he found was terrifying. First of all, the player model in-game was actually Norman Reedus, a fun nod to the Death Stranding series, but even more insane was the other entity right behind Norman. By forcing the camera to stay still against the wall, Lance was able to determine that as the player walked around in PT, Lisa's ghost literally follows them around non-stop, sometimes making faint breathing noises or casting a shadow against the wall. In almost an instant, players from years ago who had made rumors of this Lisa ghost were vindicated, and the community went into a full flurry of excitement at the discovery, with many claiming that they always knew it was true. Further investigation proved that Lisa only started to follow the player by attaching herself to their back once they picked up the flashlight in the bathroom early on in the playthrough, and that before that, you never actually were being followed. And this may point to why some players swore that this urban legend was true while others denied it vehemently. But regardless, it's crazy to think that 5 years later after this original rumor popped up, it was proven by one individual who turned the entire game on its head. And it makes it even more creepy in retrospect for those like me who played this game before, not knowing that the entire time we were being watched and stalked. Sometimes, truth can be stranger than fiction, and our next urban legend proves this point even better.